Mr. Christopher is?
I don't know, maybe he's out sick.
He usually posts things on Google Classroom when he's planning to be out. I don't think I've gotten anything yet. Have you?
No, nothing yet. Maybe it's a family emergency or something.
That would make sense. It's clear that there's no sub though, don't you think?
Ah!
Hello, class. Today, I will be acting as your guide as we journey through the mind, plunging into the depths of the subconscious, traversing the treacherous paths of our deepest and darkest fears, all in hopes that we might unearth the root causes of why we live our lives in the way that we do, and so learn to better understand ourselves and our fellow man.
So you're our AP Psych sub?
Yes, I'm your AP Psych sub. For today, Mr. Thomas Christopher is no more. There's only me! Sigmund Freud! Yes, I'm your AP Psych sub. For today, Mr. Thomas Christopher is no more. There is only me, Sigmund Freud, and you, my new apprentices, delving into the complexities of the mind.
Usually Mr. Christopher just leaves us a worksheet and some textbook pages to read.
Sometimes some crash course videos.
Oh, I love Crash Course.
Right? Isn't Hank Green the best?
There is no Hank Green now either! I will be your guide through psychology as a trailblazer to the field myself.
Okay.
Good. Let us begin. Now, children, do you all know the key foundational element on which the mind and its study is based?
Cognition?
Introspection?
Peer-reviewed, ethical, replicable research?
No. The foundation of all the ongoings of the mind can be traced back to one place. Sex.
That cannot be right.
Oh, but it is. And it starts right from the beginning of life. I even have a little song prepared to tell you about it.
A song?
Well, at least he's using mnemonics to try to teach us something.
Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with ABCs. When you're Freud, you begin with SEX.
S-E-X.
From birth to one's the oral stage. That's when babies root and suck. They form trust through breastfeeding, but they really want to...
Mr. Freud!
Yes?
Are you really suggesting that the entirety of human development is driven by sexual urges?
Well, I thought that was obvious. Isn't that obvious? It's not called Freud's psychosexual stages of human development for nothing. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The three's the anal stage when children learn bladder control. Parents help through encouragement, and then kids feel independent. Phallic stage from 3 to 6. That is when Oedipus hits. Latent lasts through puberty without much sex, and the genital stage is the rest of your life.
Wow, Mr. Freud, that was really something.
You don't need to make him feel better, Emily. Sigmund, your theory's garbage.
Oh yeah? You have a better theory?
Several, actually. John Piaget did decades of research with children in which he came up with 4 stages of development. The sensory motor comes first.
Sort of like your oral stage, but way less sexual and more focused on exploring things through touch. It's characterized by grasping, sucking, watching, and listening, and it's when people start to develop a sense of object permanence. Next is the pre-operational stage.
That ranges from 2 to 7-year-old, and it's when children begin to be able to think symbolically and think of more complex things, but it's still very concrete and egocentric thinkers.
Then from 7 to 11, the same age range as the latent stage, kids become even more logical thinkers, start to grasp conservation.
That's understanding that you can have the same amount of substance even when it's in a different shape.
Like water poured from one of 2 identical glasses into a different shaped glass.
Or a graham cracker broken into 2 halves.
And generally get a better understanding of the world around them. Then from age 12 onwards, they're in the formal operational stage where they can think abstractly, solve hypothetical problems, and use deductive logic.
And that's just one of them. Then there's Lev Vygotsky.
He is big on the zone of proximal development,
Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development.
where every age group confronts one major crisis, like the struggle between industry and inferiority for elementary schoolers, or identity versus role confusion for adolescents.
Albert Bandura's social learning theory.
Modeling!
Just to name a few.
Well, since you two seem to know so much about development, let's move on to another topic, shall we? How about we talk a little bit about family?
I do not like where this is going.
Despite your concerns about the validity of my theories on child development, I do have some experience of my own.
We all do. It's called childhood.
Do you want to guess how many children I have? Do you?
1, 2.
None? Because you're a sex-obsessed psychologist who no woman wants to marry?
Actually, I had 6. And you know why? Because 6 sounds the most like sex.
How?
I thought that this was foundational knowledge for any good psychology class. Well, child, when two people love each other very much...
I know how sex works. I just can't understand how anyone would be willing to have that many children with you.
Martha Bernays. A lovely woman, and what a body.
I don't think we need to hear about this.
Well, as many kids as we had, I'm sure you can
I
imagine.
do not want to do that.
But I digress. One important part of my psychosexual stages of development, as mentioned in the song, is the Oedipal complex, an idea I formulated in a very intriguing case study. Let me set the scene for you. Once upon a time in Austria, there was a boy named Little Hans. He had a crippling fear of horses, that's when I came in. His father sent me his observation, he was my friend Max Graf. His little boy saw a terrible horse car crash, but that was not the root cause of his fear. Oh ho, Freud knew better. Oh ho, I knew better. Oh ho, all about his horse fear, it was Oedipus. Mom? Dad? You're just in time for the next verse. The reason you see why Hans feared horses was because of their large penises. They made him feel inferior as a man. And then you know who has a larger penis than his 5-year-old son. Yes, you guessed it, it was his father who he secretly wanted to kill. He wanted to have sex with his mom, lots of intercourse with his mom, and to thin out the competition, he would kill his dad.
Mr. Freud, are you really suggesting that all men secretly want to kill their fathers and have sex with their mothers?
Not so secretly, kiddo. And it's been suggested that women have the opposite experience, where they want to have sex with their fathers. It's called the Electra complex.
That's crazy. I certainly don't have that, and I think I can speak for my classmates when I say that none of them have experienced that either. This whole thing, it's just preposterous. Not even Oedipus had an Oedipal complex. Back me up, Julia.
Emily,
Julia?
I think you might have a point.
What are you saying you have?
No, definitely not. But you have to admit, there's a really weird wave of teenage boys that like to call hot women mommy.
Julia, do not try to justify him!
Sorry.
And a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, Freud was correct. Little Hans was like Oedipus, and all little boys kill their fathers and have sex with their moms.
Nice work, everyone. The choreography was spot on.
Wait. Mr. Freud, you're saying that all small children have the Oedipus or Electra complex, right?
Yes, I would say so, even if it's in their subconscious.
Then that would mean that you also want to kill your dad and have sex with your mom.
Moving on. That's beside the point. Let's talk about therapy methods.
Are we going to talk about psychoanalysis, your most important contribution to the field of psychology?
No! We're gonna talk about this new miracle drug I've discovered. Cocaine.
At this point in the class, Sigmund Freud took out his personal stash of cocaine and tried to tell us about how it could be used to cure a number of mental illnesses.
This, of course, is not true. Cocaine can be extremely dangerous even to a traditionally neurotypical mind, but Sigmund did not know this.
What you may not know is that Sigmund Freud, in actuality, on top of his nicotine addiction,
The cigars.
was very much addicted to cocaine. Any sort of drug addiction is, of course, not a joke and should be treated with compassion and medical attention. For Sigmund Freud, it does explain some of his zanier theories, but it was no less a legitimate problem in his life.
After a little in-class intervention circle, we hope to have impressed upon him the detrimental effects of this drug, as it causes the synaptic cleft to be flooded with dopamine, receptors to be overstimulated, and a myriad of lasting changes to the brain, even after the initial dopamine flood is over.
Anyway, all this to say, we thought we would skip over this section of the class.
Without further ado, we take you to the end.
Well, you've certainly given me a lot to think about. Shall we have a little topic change now?
Yes.
Let's talk about mental disorders. One of my theories that's really taken the psychological community by storm is that people with obsessive compulsive disorder are naturally also more intelligent.
No.
No?
No. That's actually been disproven by a number of studies. OCD sufferers actually tend to score a few points lower on intelligence tests than neurotypical people, though experts have chalked up this difference to a loss of time and focus due to obsessions and compulsions.
Well, how about another piece of development theory? This one mostly about women.
Okay.
I theorize that young women, as they grow up and become increasingly more aware of typical gender roles and their own sexuality, a little thing I like to call penis envy.
I like to call that misogyny.
They envy power, agency, and also the phallus of their male friends. And this...
I'm going to stop you right there. There's no way that you're going to salvage this argument and convince a class largely made up of female-identifying students that this is a valid psychological theory.
What about you, student? Do you wish you had a penis?
No.
No?
No.
I expected some opposition from those two troublemakers. But you? This is truly a betrayal of the highest degree. Well, anyway, what else have I got? Ooh, let's talk about the id, the ego, and the superego. Now, in all of my years of psychoanalysis, I have observed a great deal of evidence that personally is a complex thing and that involves three main parts. Again, I would like to introduce this with a song. Maestro, please. Maestro, please. The mind is a complex thing. It has a conscious and unconscious. But there are three important parts to help you out. The id, ego, and superego. Let's start with the id, you one you have from birth. That's all your impulses. Your need to eat and drink and to sleep. And then, of course, your sex drive. The ego is next. It develops from the id and deals with reality. It's more practical, not so reactical.
Is that a
Helps
real
you to control yourself. Last comes the superego. That's your moral compass. It guides you through tough decisions. It has two parts, the conscious and ego ideal, and it develops around the age of 5. Let's try a little bit of modeling. You will play the superego.
Okay.
You, Taylor, will play the ego.
Cool.
And you, Julia, will play the id.
Sounds dope.
These are your lines. Please read them when I point at you. With passion.
Wow, that person is hot. I would love to go over and talk to them sometime.
But I can't do that right now because we're in the middle of a meeting at work and they might not want to be hit on in this or any environment.
Sex! Wonderful job. Now your second lines, all together.
Sex! Respectful boundaries!
Beautiful job, class. Now that is one complex mind.
Mr. Freud, are you waiting for something?
Well, this is usually the part where you guys tell me how wrong I am about my theory.
I'm actually not sure I have any qualms with this one.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think anyone's been able to prove this one wrong, and it's a pretty important theory in the development of psychology as a field of study.
I can't believe it! You all actually agree with me! Victory!
Do you think we'll ever see him again?
I hope not.
Oh, me too. It's just, I think I'm going to miss him in a weird way. He was so passionate about so much nonsense.
I hope he sees a doctor about that cocaine addiction.
Yeah.
He's almost majestic.
Is he climbing back up into the ceiling vents?
Yup.
Do you think we should tell someone about that?
Nah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing to happen at this school.
Well, there's the bell.
See you guys on Monday.
No, I'm not the little boy that I used to be. I'm all grown up now, baby, can't you see? Sigmund's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I'm waiting for so long. Sigmund, can't you see? You're just not the boy for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Sigmund's mom. Sigmund's mom has got it going on. Sigmund's mom has got it going on. Sigmund, do you remember when I mowed your lawn? Or lawnmower was a thing back then? Your mom came out with just a towel on. I could tell she liked me by the way she stared. And the way she said, "You missed a spot over there. Spot over there." And I know that you think it's just a fantasy. But since your dad walked out, your mom could use a guy like me. Sigmund's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Sigmund, can't you see? You're just not the boy for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Sigmund's mom.